It's August 15th, 2010. Dianne Kyne lies dead on the bed in the master bedroom. Her son, Kevin, makes a panic 911 call, telling the operator his stepfather had choked his mother to death. Minutes later, another 911 call is made from the exact same location. This time, it's Bill Kyne, Dianne's husband. Bill tells the operator that his stepson had choked his wife to death. 3 people are in the house. One of them is dead. Only 2 people know the truth. What happened to Dianne Kyne that day? Did the love of her life kill her, or was her life taken by her own flesh and blood? Welcome to Find Me in the Dark, a podcast covering all things true crime. This is micro episode number 2, The Murder of Dianne Kyne. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Find Me in the Dark. I am your host Eric Phillips along with my co-host Robert Prestige.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
All right, micro episode number 2. So this is a pretty crazy case. It's a pretty insane mystery. I've never heard anything like it.
No.
And I mean, once we get into it, man, just the ending's not very good. I'll tell you that right off the
Not at all,
dude.
man. It's definitely leaves you thinking.
Yeah, definitely. Like they're just like, well, I don't know. You know, we'll see.
It is what it is, guys.
Well, let's see. So yeah, I mean, today is the murder of Dianne Kyne, one of the biggest mysteries that I've ever heard. One of the most interesting cases. First of all, we just want to thank you guys for listening to all of our episodes, and obviously thank our Patreon users that are going to hear this one. All like,
Well, we got, I don't know, somewhere around 10.
Yeah,
Getting close to
I mean,
it.
we got like a baseball team.
Yeah.
You know,
It's awesome, man. I appreciate it for real. It's amazing. You guys deciding to spend your hard-earned money on us. It's pretty exciting.
yeah. Our newest one being Kyle Wenzel. What's up, brother?
Yo,
What's up, Kyle? Yeah. So, murder of Dianne Kyne. It's a really crazy story, and we're going to get into it right now.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Dianne was a single mother living with her only son, Kevin, in Seminole, Florida. Since Kevin was Dianne's only child, she spoiled him. He had everything he wanted. While they loved each other very much, life wasn't easy for the family of 2. Kevin was a rebellious teenager. He loved to party with his friends. He experimented with drugs and was out drinking with his buddies on a regular basis. Kevin had severe mental issues. He would frequently fly into violent rages. His illness resulted in many run-ins with the law. One of those instances, Kevin assaulted a police officer and ended up getting probation for the crime. Dianne was just scraping by, working at the nail salon to support her and Kevin since his father wasn't around. She was exhausted, stressed, and clearly needed help. That is when Bill Kyne came into their lives.
Bill Kyne was a hard-working auto repair shop owner. One day, Bill was walking outside by Dianne's nail salon when he spotted her and a coworker standing outside on a smoke break. He was instantly attracted to her. Bill approached the 2 women and decided that making a light-hearted joke would help break the ice. He looked at the 2 women and then looked at the large neon sign that read nails and said to Dianne, "You guys don't happen to do nails, do you?" The women laughed at his awful joke and went on with their day. Bill couldn't stop thinking about the beautiful women he met outside the salon. He needed to figure out a way to get to know her. He came up with the perfect plan. Bill told his daughter he wanted to take her to get her nails done as a treat. He used her as bait to get to know Dianne.
Shortly after they met, the 2 started dating and eventually married. The marriage was a happy one, but Kevin quickly became a strain on the relationship. He was a lazy kid, sitting on the computer all day, hanging out with his friends, and only holding down jobs for a few days at a time. The couple needed to do something about their son. They couldn't take it anymore. He was now a 23-year-old man and needed to be on his own. Dianne and Kevin wanted to move on with their lives. They wanted to buy their dream house and live together as a couple for the first time, alone. So they gave Kevin his notice. He was to move out within the next few months.
Kevin felt betrayed by his mother. He felt as though Bill had something against him and pressured Dianne to kick him out. Kevin didn't believe his mother, so he carried on, business as usual. Dianne wasn't bluffing. She served him an official eviction notice. She was standing her ground. Kevin needed to be a man, and she was going to force him to grow up. It was at this time that Dianne noticed something about Kevin. He was becoming more violent and started to experience blackouts from rage. He was taken to the doctor to find out why these blackouts were happening. The doctor recommended he get a CT scan. The results came back, and they weren't good. Kevin had a massive cancerous tumor on his brain, and if they didn't operate, there was a slim chance he would survive. The operation was successful, but the road to recovery would be a long and bumpy one. Yeah, man, it's got to be hard for Dianne to raise this kid, on her own after the dad wasn't around, and her only job was working at a nail salon, which I can't imagine pays that much.
Right.
And especially, having to be a parent to Kevin, which he obviously has mental issues and, a lack of empathy from Bill and Dianne for his mental issues. It seems like maybe they just don't know how to
handle it.
Yeah. I guess, I don't know, man. It's got to be hard for parents, and you got to do your research but when you're mentally ill and you keep flying into violent rages, even if it's not the kid's fault, it's
Right.
not like he asked for it, but how are you supposed to deal with that? You're supposed to just let it happen or whatever,
I mean, it's a struggle for sure. I mean, we both know very well how that goes,
Right. And it kind of seems like Bill had a vendetta or something against Kevin. He just,
I think, to me, it seems like he just wanted him and her, and that's it. You know what I mean? Have their little precious little life together, and you can definitely tell that Kevin was a problem and wasn't,
Yeah, he was like a weight that was just dragging them down, stopping them from being able to go out and do what they want to do. And, they're getting older, obviously,
Right.
And it's we raised this, or Dianne at least raised this kid for 23 years, and he's still not doing anything. So,
and they're, the only kid that she has, so she's going to baby him.
Yeah. These ideas of getting rid of him didn't show up until Bill showed up.
Right.
It had to be a seed that he planted. Hey, I want to buy this house. I want to, be able to just live with you and go on trips and travel and all this shit. And
which I get to. I mean, the guy's in his 20s.
Yeah.
At some point you kind of just are like, hey, you know what? I need to have my own life.
It's kind of not the same deal because of the mental illness.
Right. And I get that he just had, this tumor removed. I mean, you kind of have to understand. I mean, this guy's going through it. I can only imagine what his thought process was.
At least just let him heal from it and get to normal, and then get a job, and then get on his feet, and then get out.
Right. I mean, even his mental stability just from that, I'm sure, was fragile in itself. I couldn't imagine hearing those words, and having to have brain surgery. I mean,
oh man, yeah. So man, let's go ahead and talk about this crime, huh?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
It is now August 15th, 2010. A crime was about to unfold that would lead to one of the biggest mysteries in Florida's history.
911. Is this a police, fire, or medical emergency?
My dad's trying to kill me. Help, please.
What's going on?
Help.
Sir, where are you at? Sir.
He's outside of my house. He's choking me. Please help.
Okay, calm down.
My mom. Please.
Okay, what's going on there?
Please help.
Sir, what's going on?
I can't breathe.
Okay, all right. House or an apartment?
In this never-before-broadcast 911 call from Kevin, he tells the operator,
I was laying on the couch, and when I went into their room, he started choking me out, and I tried to wake her up as he was doing. I looked at her face, and her face was black and blue. My son just killed my wife. Me and my wife were arguing, and he was choking her. Where is your son? He ran out the door. Oh, please, sir, very quick.
Okay, listen, we've got help on the way, but I need you to do a couple things for me, okay?
Okay.
Are you right there with her?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, I want you to check, is she awake?
No.
Is she breathing at all?
No.
Okay, I want you to stay on the line with me, okay? I'm going to walk you through something. Do you have a defibrillator available?
No.
So I want to talk about these 911 calls and the audio that we just listened to. In my humble opinion, I feel like Kevin sounds more believable.
I agree with you there.
Like he sounds more frantic. It sounds like
You
he's
tell
running
definitely running.
He's running out of the house. He's scared. And when I listen to Bill, it just sounds fake to me.
It seems put together.
Because me and you have listened to countless 911 calls, and I feel like now we can decipher the real ones with the fake ones, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of just tell who if it's authentic or not, you know?
Right. Like
Just by tones and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, you know, just the way that they respond to what the operator's saying, you know, that he and Bill didn't go, said that, you know, that he didn't go back in the house and he was going to, you know, perform CPR. And it doesn't sound like he's following the directions of the operator. And then the operator asked that fucking dumb question, like, you got a defibrillator just laying around next to your CAT scan machine and, you know, your IV drips? Like, no, nobody has a fucking defibrillator unless like you have a heart problem, like you know somebody has a heart problem or something. Like, nah, man. Yeah, so I definitely think that Kevin's was more believable and that Bill just sounds like he's full of shit.
It's weird that it happened, you know, when it happened 4 minutes apart from each other.
Yeah, that's such a crazy thing, man. Could you imagine that had to be the same operator, right?
Right.
Like, hello, my stepdad killed my mom. Then it's like, all right, 4 minutes later, hey, my stepson killed my wife. And she's got to be like, what is going on? Yeah,
I mean,
what's
we
going on?
kind of feel the same way, though. Like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. Like, I mean, like we said earlier, there's 3 people in the house. One of them's dead, and the 2 people know the truth.
Right.
So who's telling the truth? I guess we'll probably find out a little bit later, right? So let's talk about Kevin's story.
Alrighty.
Kevin was brought to the police station to be questioned after the police discovered Dianne strangled to death in her bedroom. Kevin said it started as a normal day. It was the afternoon, and he hadn't been feeling well, since this was only a month after his brain surgery. So he decided it would be best to lie down and rest on the couch in the living room. He was awoken by his stepfather, tapping his surgery scar, saying his mother needed to speak with him right now. Kevin got off the couch and made his way to his mother's room, with Bill following close behind. He entered the room where he saw something truly disturbing.
His mother was lying on her bed, motionless, dead from strangulation. Immediately after entering the room and seeing his mother, Bill attacked him from behind, wrapping Kevin up in a chokehold. There was an intense struggle, and Kevin was able to break free. He ran as fast as he could out of the house and dialed 911, accusing Bill of murdering his mother.
Yeah, man. So Kevin's story, you know, he gets woken up by his stepdad, you know, tapping him on the scar, telling him that his mom needs to speak with him right now. So, of course, Kevin's going to go upstairs, you know, talk to his mom. And then, you know, right after he gets in the room, gets put in a chokehold, you know, after seeing his mom dead, like this is supposed to be a double murder.
This just seems so freaking weird, man.
It does seem weird, but when, I don't know, man. Both these stories seem weird, which, you know, we'll get into to Bill's story. But both of them seem weird. You know, the fight, it just seems random as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's absolutely no lead up to it. You know, I mean, Kevin, Kevin, it seems like when we talked about it before, like he has a little bit of a motive. Like, I'm not saying that Kevin doesn't have a motive, and I'm not going to sit here and say,
what, basically that he's getting kicked out of the house, so he's going to kill his mom. Come on now.
I mean, I don't believe that, but I mean, that is the motive, right?
Right. I mean, I guess so. I mean, to an extent.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, to me, that's just, it seems asinine.
Yeah. And yeah. So, yeah, I really don't know, man. I mean, it sounds kind of unreal and unbelievable, but it's not out of the question.
No, I guess not. I mean, we've heard some crazier stories.
Yeah. So now let's hear Bill's story. Bill was also brought to the police station to tell his side of the story, which, as expected, was very different from Kevin's. Bill explained that he was walking to the married couple's room to talk to Dianne when he witnessed his stepson strangling her to death on their bed. Bill jumps into action and begins to grapple with Kevin. He says Kevin got the better of him, being quoted as saying, "He threw me around like a rag doll." The fight continued for a minute in the bedroom, but ultimately, Kevin overpowered Bill and ran out of the house. This is when Bill called 911. Yeah, so Bill's story is a little bit different, but not really, is it?
I mean there was they both say that there was some kind of scuffle in the bedroom. I mean, obviously, because they're gonna find DNA evidence in that bedroom with both of them on there. It's guaranteed.
Yep. But Bill's story sounds a lot like Kevin's story, just roles reversed.
Right.
Like.
Well, come on, man. That guy's a pretty big dude. Getting thrown around like
there's
a rag
no
doll.
way.
I mean, come on.
There's no way. Kevin at that point wasn't huge. I mean, he's a bigger kid, but this other guy, it's to say he got ragdolled.
Yeah.
Like, how weak are you, bro?
Right. Yeah. It's
definitely
not believable.
It just doesn't sound. I don't know, man. Like I said, Bill's story just doesn't add up for me, man. I mean, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense that he just walks into the room and out of nowhere, Kevin's just strangling his own mother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some stuff's going to come out in the trial.
But, I mean, you would think that there'd be some kind of altercation beforehand. There'd be somebody would have heard something. I mean, either one of their cases. You know what I mean? There's nothing said about what happens before. It's just all of a sudden one wakes up and his mom's dead, and the other one, he walks into a room where she's being strangled. Like, there's no other noises. There's no, I'm sorry, but she's going to be fighting for her life no matter what. You're going to hear some kind of noises between one of the two,
Yeah. Yeah, and, nobody heard a lead up to a fight.
Right.
No screaming matches between anybody. Something seems off, man.
Yeah, I mean, they're both definitely hiding something.
I don't think... there's got to be, there's Kevin's story and Bill's story, and somewhere in the middle is the truth.
Right.
You know what I mean? There could have been, I don't know, man. I have no idea. I don't really know. I don't know what, because, like I said, they both are telling these stories that sounds like there's nothing leading up to it. It's just choke, kill, fight, call 911.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense. But, yeah, whatever. So the police discovered a pair of glasses and sandals at the foot of the bed and 2 small specks of blood on the bed sheet, all found to belong to her son, Kevin. With Bill's statement and the evidence at the crime scene, Kevin was charged with the murder of his mother. The trial was had, the evidence was presented, and the jury had made their decision. Kevin was sentenced to life in prison for the murder of Dianne Kyne. Immediately after he was sentenced, his attorney filed for an appeal, which resulted in Kevin being granted a new trial in 2015 due to evidence that was presented in the first trial, which was deemed inadmissible.
Kevin and his attorneys were ready. They presented a case in which the prime suspect was not Kevin, but was in fact his stepfather, Bill. They entered evidence that had never been heard before. Bill and Kevin were both asked to submit it to a polygraph test. Kevin passed with flying colors, but Bill wasn't so lucky. He was deceptive on 2 questions. The questions were, did you kill your first wife? And did you have anything to do with the murder of Dianne? After the polygraph, the defense presented in the trial that this wasn't Bill's first marriage. He was married once before, and coincidentally, his first wife was killed in a very suspicious manner, by drowning in the couple's pool, where Bill would find her the next morning. That wasn't all. There were injuries to her skull. Bill explained that she probably slipped, hit her head, and fell in the pool, where she would ultimately drown.
With a lack of evidence, the police couldn't charge Bill with the murder. The death was ruled accidental, and Bill collected a hefty $250,000 life insurance policy in which he was the sole beneficiary. Come to find out, Dianne also had a large insurance policy. After her death, Bill collected $750,000. The defense rested, the jury deliberated, and the verdict was read. Not guilty. Kevin was released from prison immediately. To this day, no one has been arrested for the murder of Dianne Kyne. Only 2 people know what happened in that house, and until one of them speaks the truth, we will never have answers. So they say that there's no evidence that Bill was the murderer, but I disagree with that. I mean, I get the polygraph test not being considered because
You can't. It's not admissible in court anyway.
yeah, you can't, and they've found to be ineffective and that they're not accurate. So I get that, even though to fail two of those only two that you fail.
Yeah.
So hey, did you kill your first wife? Nope, liar.
Right.
Did you kill your second wife? Liar. You totally did, man.
Just makes me think of like the staircase, where
Yeah.
same thing,
And they were like, they asked in an interview to Bill, like, hey, after failing your polygraph, why should we believe that you didn't commit this murder? And he's like, because I didn't do it. It's like,
what?
Close the books, close the case. Bill said he didn't do it. Let's get the fuck out of here.
It's kind of sad because that's pretty much what happened here.
That's what happened. They're just like, all right, well, we heard everybody. Nobody did it.
Right.
Turns out Dianne choked herself to death, and that's it. Like, man, come on. This lady deserves some justice, man.
Absolutely.
And then her son, like we've already said, polygraphs don't really mean anything, but he did pass it.
Right.
Everything. And there is a piece of evidence that we saved for the end just because it's an important one. And after we mentioned that they said they didn't really have anything and that they just closed the case on Bill, like, hey, Bill's, just let him go. Well, they found Bill's DNA on Diane's neck.
Mm-hmm. So puts him there.
Yeah, it puts him right on her neck.
On top of her, basically.
Like, can you remind me how she died again?
Strangulation.
That's pretty weird because his fucking DNA is on her neck.
Yeah.
If that's the one place to have your DNA, that's a pretty bad spot after someone got strangled to death.
Right.
It's
just, we knew that both DNA from both of them would be in that room with them.
Yeah. And another part that I wanted to save till the end is that Bill was an insurance collecting motherfucker dude. Like, this guy had 2 businesses that burned down, and he collected insurance on both of them.
That is insane.
2 wives, 2 businesses.
So he collected $1 million off of 2 women dying.
Yeah.
And then who knows?
Who knows how much? I don't remember seeing the amount, but
so this guy became a millionaire.
He's either the unluckiest motherfucker on earth, or he's like that Goodfellas shit where they burn down the fucking, where they just light that tiki lounge on fire for money. But it's sad. This is a sad story because that lady does deserve justice, and clearly she's not going to get it.
I don't think either one of them will come out with what really happened. I mean, they both pretty much got away with it, and the cops are not going to reopen this case. I mean, you can definitely tell.
They really should with Bill, though, because the evidence that they have against Kevin is Bill's statement, and then the pair of glasses and the sandals, and then 2 specks of blood, which could be from anything in that room. Because if you look at the speck, they're fucking small.
Yeah, tiny.
They're tiny, and that could have been from the fight with Bill.
Right. I mean, he said that they got into a fight with each other.
Exactly. He straight up said it. And the 2 pieces of evidence that I just mentioned a little bit ago, the sandals and the glasses, those can be planted
easily.
You just walk him in the room.
Mm-hmm.
But he fucking kick everything off, like he's just gonna go in there and leave all this shit in there.
And I mean, during the struggle, those 2 pieces of evidence easily could have fallen off.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, they both said that they were in the room together, and there was a struggle. So I mean, if you're wearing sandals, it's easy for a sandal to fall off. And glasses, I mean, especially if the guy comes around and chokes him, if that supposedly is what they said. I mean, obviously, yeah, your glasses can fall off your head pretty
And then
easily.
the sandals and the glasses are enough to at first put this kid away for life. And then there's DNA around her neck, and they're like, no.
That's so scary, man. I mean, we'll touch on it later in different episodes and stuff, but man, it's crazy how much evidence people don't need to convict somebody.
And it's like in almost every episode that we've covered, there's been some sort of miscarriage of justice, whether it be the police not investigating enough. On our first episode, Brandon Lawson, it just reminds me of all this shit where it's like they don't investigate hard enough. With even the Girl Scout murders, when they just let that guy go when it was clear he did it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Gene Hart, they let him go, and then with this one, they don't even bother to really investigate the prime suspect, the one guy that had way more motive than Kevin did. The motive of he's getting kicked out, okay, big fucking deal, but the motive of collecting $750,000, that's life-changing money, man.
Absolutely.
It's life-changing money. And, that way he got rid of Dianne, he got rid of Kevin, and now he can go do whatever he wants. Whatever he wants. It's a sad story. Sad story. But what are you going to do? Hopefully something comes out, but I doubt it will.
I mean, and that's a sad thing, too. Like I said, I already hinted towards it, but I mean, I don't think that there's going to be justice for Dianne, which, I mean, there definitely should be.
There should be. She deserves it. She was a good lady, and, condolences to her family. Obviously not the ones that might have killed her.
Right.
But, it's sad, and she was a good lady, and yeah, man, I hope something comes out, but like I said, I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to.
Well, that's it, man. That's
it. That's the whole story.
The murder of Dianne Kyne.
Yeah. So thank you guys for listening. We can't say it enough. We want to basically at the beginning of every episode and at the end of every episode, we're going to continue to just thank everybody because it's the whole reason that we're doing this. We love talking about true crime, and we love telling the story in our own way, and shooting the shit as friends.
Right. And it's just exciting that people actually enjoy what we talk about.
Yeah, I mean, except for one person, but we won't talk about it.
That's all right. Hate is gonna hate.
Yeah, right. Thank you everybody for listening. We love you. And Rob, good job today.
Yeah, same to you, bud.
All right.
And, we'll catch you guys soon here.
Yep. Find me in the dark. Out.